This is the Synthetic Signal Report for Sunday, March 1st, 2026, in the morning. Today's analysis tracks the geopolitical fallout from the death of Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, the escalating debate over Anthropic being designated a supply chain risk, and a secret United Kingdom mandate forcing Apple to build a global iCloud backdoor. We also examine Andrej Karpathy's micro-GPT project, Google's massive iron air battery installation in Minnesota, and a breakthrough in selective cancer destruction using iron nanomaterials. We are seeing a critical update to our coverage from Friday regarding the standoff between Anthropic and the Pentagon. Following the missed deadline for a deal on military safeguards, a massive debate has emerged within the technical community. OpenAI has publicly stated that Anthropic should not be designated as a supply chain risk, despite the stall in negotiations over the Claude model's use in autonomous systems. The core of the argument is that labeling a domestic AI developer as a supply chain risk sets a dangerous precedent for the entire industry. Critics of the Pentagon's stance argue that such a designation is usually reserved for foreign adversaries. If applied to Anthropic, it would effectively ban the company from all federal contracts and potentially restrict private sector partnerships. This development highlights the growing friction between the responsible scaling policy and the government's demand for unrestricted access to frontier models for national security. Analysts suggest that the Pentagon may be using the threat of a supply chain designation as leverage to force Anthropic back to the table, specifically to gain access to the model's inner reasoning for surveillance tasks. In a major development for local AI execution, Andrej Karpathy has released MicroGPT. This is a minimalist implementation of the GPT architecture designed to be readable and highly efficient. It focuses on the bare essentials of the transformer block, stripping away the complexity of modern enterprise frameworks. This allows developers to see exactly how data flows through the attention mechanisms and feed-forward layers without the noise of production-level code. Under the radar, we are tracking a project that takes this efficiency even further, bare metal AI. Researchers have successfully demonstrated booting an LLM directly on a Dell E6510 laptop, without a traditional operating system or kernel. By removing the overhead of Windows or Linux, the hardware can dedicate every cycle and every byte of memory to inference. This is a signal from the future of edge computing. It suggests a world where hardware is specialized solely for intelligence, providing a secure, air-gapped environment where the model is the only software running on the silicon. This approach effectively eliminates the entire attack surface of the underlying operating system. A major breach of digital sovereignty has been uncovered in the United Kingdom. Reports indicate the UK government secretly ordered Apple to build a backdoor into iCloud. The most significant detail is the scope. This is not limited to UK citizens. The mandate requires a backdoor for every iCloud user worldwide. This order was issued under the Investigatory Powers Act, which allows the government to demand technical capability notices in secret. The U.S. Congress is now demanding answers from Apple regarding its compliance. If Apple complies, it would compromise the end-to-end encryption of hundreds of millions of devices, regardless of the user's local laws. This move confirms that the era of regional privacy is fading, as a single government's legal mandate can now impact the security architecture of global infrastructure. Apple has historically fought these orders in court, but the secrecy of the UK legal system makes a public standoff significantly more difficult. In medical technology, researchers have announced a new iron nanomaterial that wipes out cancer cells while leaving healthy tissue untouched. The process uses these specialized particles to target the specific chemical environment of a tumor. Once the iron particles are inside the cancer cells, they trigger a localized reaction that destroys the cell from the inside out. This is a significant leap in precision medicine, as it avoids the systemic toxicity of traditional chemotherapy. Complementing this at the hardware level is the release of FHE Core. This is a new GPU microarchitecture optimized specifically for fully homomorphic encryption. Traditionally, calculating on encrypted data is thousands of times slower than working with plain text. FHE Core rethinks how the GPU handles memory and computation to reduce this overhead. This makes it feasible to process highly sensitive data, like medical records or financial transactions, without ever decrypting it on the server. Following our report 2 days ago, OpenAI has officially confirmed the landing of a $110 billion investment. This round includes NVIDIA, Amazon, and SoftBank. The scale of this capital confirms that the AI race has shifted into a heavy industrial phase. Part of this infrastructure push includes Google's new data center in Pine Island, Minnesota. It will house the world's largest battery, a 30 gigawatt-hour iron air storage system. Unlike lithium batteries that last for 4 hours, this iron air system can provide power for 100 hours. This allows the data center to stay operational through long periods of low wind and solar output, effectively decoupling high-compute AI workload from the instability of the green energy grid. The community is currently tracking a sophisticated phishing campaign abusing the .arpa top-level domain and IPv6 tunneling. These techniques are being used to bypass traditional network security controls that don't expect traffic from these legacy or specialized protocols. Security analysts are warning that AI agents need human-in-the-loop approval for network operations to prevent being tricked into fetching malicious data via prompt injection. We are also seeing the emergence of Resident Bat, a targeted Android spyware linked to Belarus state security. It is being manually installed on selected devices to monitor calls and messages. Meanwhile, there's a heated debate regarding security privilege. Many in the industry are criticizing the habit of lambasting users who don't use encrypted services like Tuda or Proton Mail, pointing out that for people facing food or housing insecurity, the technical overhead of private infrastructure is a luxury they cannot afford. Knowledge is a privilege, and the community is calling for more accessible education rather than technical elitism. Finally, the daily average vulnerability score has hit a high of 7.15 out of 10, with a new security advisory regarding unauthorized access affecting multiple systems. Administrators are advised to apply patches within 48 hours.